All right, today I'm going to be making something special. This is spaghetti right here. So right here I have Prosecco spaghetti right here, and I also have Alvarado sauce. This is from Michael's from Brooklyn. Great sauce right here. So I'm going to be making Prosecco. I think I said it right, but it says from 1886. Absolute goodness right here. Spaghetti number 12, whatever that means. It says slow dried, coarse grain, salmonella, cold mountain water, bronze drawn texture. Don't know exactly what that means, but it sounds like absolute goodness. So I'm going to be having the pasta, of course, right here. And then I'm also going to be having some chicken right here. I got some chicken from the grocery store. I'm going to open it up to show you what's going to be going on right here. So this is the chicken that I'm going to be having, and I'm going to have pasta. All right, so it's going to be chicken and pasta, and I have some of my favorite vegetables, the mushrooms. All right, so I'm going to have that, and I'm going to be using California olive ranch olive oil. Absolute goodness. All right, so right here I have some Parmesan cheese right here, which I'm going to be adding onto it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get started with this. I'm going to go ahead and start to get the water to boil right here. So I have some water right here that I'm going to use to boil the pasta noodles right here. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. So let's get that rollerating. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. All right, get that water boiling and get that going. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this. Now with the chicken that I'm going to be using, I'm going to be making it inside of the air fryer. So I'm going to open this up. Now look at that chicken. Look at that chicken right here. So we'll be placing the chicken inside of the air. What's going on? All right, oh, can't have it on top of that. Absolute goodness. So I'm going to be placing it in the air fryer. Need to wash that out. Let me wash this out. All right, so I have it washed out. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the chicken and place the chicken inside of the pan like this. All right, so you see I'm placing the chicken inside of the pan. Place it like this, and I'm going to bake this inside of the air fryer. All right, so what I'm going to do is place that right there, and I'm going to place this inside of the air fryer. Let me go ahead and place it inside of the air fryer, and I'm going to go ahead and bake it. Plus, press the bake option. Oh, it's pretty much set. All right, so 14 minutes, and I'm going to do 335. All right, change to 340. Absolute goodness. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bake this for 14 minutes inside of the air fryer and be nice and good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take this right here and wrap this back up and put this in the refrigerator. Wrap it up really nicely. Place it inside of the refrigerator. Absolute goodness. All right, so you have that placed in the refrigerator. And I have the water boiling. If you didn't notice, I put a top on top of the water right here. This actually saves energy. I'm big into save the planet. Absolute goodness. So I'll put the top on because it'll allow the pot, the water, to reach a boil at a faster pace and retaining some. Oh, anyway, I'm going to quit talking about that. Well, anyway, put a top on it to actually make it cook faster or boil faster. So now I'm going to take some garlic. All right, so I have some garlic, and I'm going to crush the garlic. Just press it a little bit to crush it up, and then I'm going to take the peel and push it to the side. The peel just like kind of falls off when you crush it like that. Absolute goodness. And so once I did that, I'm going to go ahead and take my knife, and then I'm just going to slice it like this into small pieces. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is so the garlic flavoration can permeate and give a nice flavoration to my Italian dish that I'm about to cook right now. So I have this, and I'm just gonna press the garlic over to that area right there. Then I'm gonna take the mushrooms. So you have the mushrooms. I'm gonna take these, and I'm gonna actually go ahead and slice these like this. Now, I'm not gonna be doing with the mushrooms like, well, maybe I'll do. I'll do it both ways for the giggles. All right, so I'm gonna slice the mushrooms in half like this. I'm gonna go through all of these just like this. So I'm gonna take them, keep on slicing them halfway, like that. Sliced mushrooms. Now look at the insides of these. Doesn't it look good? Come up to the screen and smell this. That is a sliced mushroom. Now I'm gonna be doing it several ways, mushrooms. I'm gonna cook them. One, I'm gonna be cooking them in half of them in the side of the air fryer. The other one, I might saute a little bit with the garlic. Absolute goodness. So I have the mushrooms right here. Slicing them in half. All right, so one more mushroom to slice right there, or maybe 1.5. All right, so I have the mushroom sliced, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add half of them into a bowl. All right, so that is the air fryer beeping, meaning that it is preheated and I should add food, which I already added. All right, so I'm gonna add some of the mushrooms in here. Put these to the side. How did I miss one mushroom? And these mushrooms actually right here that I'm gonna be adding to the pan with the garlic, I am going to actually slice them one more again, like this. Do you see this? Slice them one more again, just so they're a little bit more slicerated. Cut them in 4s as opposed to halves or 2s or whatever I'm trying to talk about. Absolute goodness. So I'm slice them up like this. Now, with these right here, what I'm going to do with these mushrooms, I'm going to add a little bit of seasonization. And what I want to use with this is garlic herb. You see this? This is Mrs. Dash right here. You see Mrs. Dash right here? This is garlic and herb. I use this because it has no salt in here. And I'm trying to restrict my salt in my diet. You can check the description part of the page for this product right here and probably other products that I have posted up here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle some of this inside of it. And then I'm going to add a little bit of lemon pepper right here. You see this? It's called Kinder's, all right? Kinder's no salt seasoning, lemon pepper. All right, so I'm gonna add this right here. Big on no salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and add, look, it's so brand new, I have to open up the top. But before I get to that, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the pot right here. You see it comes to a boil. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take my spaghetti number 12 from the Secco right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and place this inside of the pot right here. Just go ahead and place that in the pot and let it boilorate just like that. All right, so I have that in the pot. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of California Olive Ranch olive oil. And I'm just gonna pour a little bit in the pot, and this is gonna keep it from foaming up at the mouth of the pot. All right, so I added that, and just gonna let that boil. It's gonna boil down, and then I'll be able to put the noodles in here. Some of you all like to break your noodles in half, but I am not doing that. All right, so I have that. So what I'm gonna do is back to the seasonization right here that I have for the mushrooms. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil to the mixturation. All right, so when you add the olive oil, it gives a nice flavoration to it, but it also will allow the mushrooms to cook without toasterating them too much inside of the air fryer. So once I have that, I also have a little bit of tequila right here, okay? So this is Fortaleza tequila, really good tasting, has a slight smoky flavor to it, tequila. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of this to the mushrooms. All right, so add a little bit of the smoky flavor tequila to the pot. All right, so once you have that, you're gonna go ahead and mix it up. Just take a spoon, mix this up to let it season the seasonization. Oh, I forgot to add the lemon. Let me go ahead and get these noodles submerged in there. Gonna add a little bit of lemon. Gonna break the seal. Look at that. Come onto the screen. Smell that right there. The lemon pepper. Absolute goodness. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this, put the top of this back on and sprinklerize some of the limon on here. So we have the Mrs. Dash garlic and herb, and I have the no salt lemon pepper. All right, so I have this all in here. It's inside. Put it like that. Maybe a little bit more of this, and maybe a little bit more of tequila. So I'm going to add a little bit more tequila into the pot right here. Absolute goodness. So once that's in there, I'm going to go ahead and stir this up like that. Look at that. Absolute goodness. Look at the nice texturation, the nice flavoration. Look at the color of the lemon. You can smell a little bit of the tequila. And I'm just going to set this aside. Now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put this in the air fryer once it gets down to about 7 minutos. Let me go ahead and check on it to see how they're cooking. Absolute goodness. Go ahead and wait for that to go down. Make sure the pasta is well submerged. So once I have this going on, I have the mushrooms right here, and I have the garlic. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sauteate the mushrooms and garlic. All right, so let me go ahead and clear the plate. Absolute goodness. Go ahead, put that on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and heat the pan up first. Now I like to heat the pan up first, that way the temperature is evenly distributed. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. All right, that's heating up. Now look at this, look at the garlic. Come up to the screen, smell that, smell the fresh garlic. Now if you don't cook with fresh garlic, you're missing out on life. Absolute goodness. So you have the fresh garlic, you have the mushrooms right here, all right? So you have all of that going on right here. And you have these mushrooms, which I'm going to add to the mixeration. And I'm going to go ahead and add them now. It's 8 minutes right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take these, and I'm going to add some of these to the pot right here. Make sure that they're nicely evened out, not sitting on top of the chicken. All that flavoration in there, absolute goodness. So once it's in there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flipperate the chicken. All right, I'm going to flipperate the chicken like so, like whoa. All right, put that back in there and let that cookerate for, it has about another 8 minutos going on right there. So the pan is heating up. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to the mix. A little bit of olive oil to the mix. Then I'm going to add the garlic to let that sauterate really quick inside of the pan. All right, so I'm going to let that sauterate just slightly into the pan, and you can see it if you get in close, come up to it, you see that, you smell it, smells great. Make sure the garlic is fully submerged inside of the California olive oil. All right, it's fully submerged in there. All right, you see that? See what's going on right here? It's salterating. Go ahead and stir it up a little bit. Now the key is not to let it burnerate, just let it toasterate. Absolute goodness. So once you have it just toasterating, I'm gonna go ahead and add the mushrooms to the pot right here. All right. Then I'm going to stir it slightly. Now the key with this, you don't want the garlic to burn. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of water to this right here. Now this will allow it to steamerate right there. And I might want to let it, here we go, put a top on it, and it lets it steamerate a little bit more, cooking the mushrooms. Now, while this is steamerating, I'm gonna go ahead and check up on the pasta. All right, so you want it to be al dente, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and take it, check it to see if it's al dente. Not yet, it looks like it needs a little bit more time in there, but I have that going on. So let this steamerate. Go ahead and take that off. And when you steamerate, it's just allowing the mushrooms to cook a little bit more, have a nice flavoration to it. So it's cooking right here. And after it cooks down to a certain degree, I'm going to take the top off right here and let the water evaporate from out of the pot. Absolute goodness. All right, so you got the chicken, it's cooking. It's going to be cooked in about another 6 minutes. You have the pasta, which is cooking right now. It's going to be done shortly. We're going to get it to al dente. You have the mushrooms in this pan right here with the water in here. It's cooking down the mushrooms. They're getting smaller in here. And then I'm going to release the pot and then allow the water to evaporate. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. So I have this. Let me go ahead and, whoa, didn't mean for that to happen. Go ahead and wipe the water up and turn that back on, get everything cookerating back again. All right, and so this is cookerating down. We have 5 minutes left on here. We have the pasta over here, boiler rating. Let's see how this is looking right here. Check this to see if this is close to al dente. Not quite. Probably a few more minutos, and that will be to al dente. So let's get back over here. It's boiled down quite a bit. And now I release the pot. And what I can do is I can raise it a little bit higher, and this will allow for the water to evaporate. Now that I have cooked the mushrooms pretty well. See that? Now the water is fast at evaporating. You can come up to the screen, smell that. Come up to the screen, smell this. Absolute goodness. Now it's really fritating right now. The water is evaporating at a relatively high rate right here. And that's what I want. I don't want the mushrooms to be overcooked, and I don't want the water to be in the pan. So I'm just going to keep on stirring it up like this. Come up to the screen and smell it, because it's smelling quite good in here. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolutely. Now look at that. Look at that. It's all evaporated. Absolute goodness. And I'm going to go ahead and take this, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this one off now that the water has completely evaporated. All right, so look at that. So I have fresh garlic in there, fresh garlic, fresh mushrooms. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. Now I'm going to go ahead and set that down to the side. Now, what I'm going to do now is the noodles are almost done. I have the air fryer. We have 3 minutos left in there. Now, while this is all going on, I'm going to go ahead and crack open the Michael's of Brooklyn arrabbiata sauce. Now, this is a spicy type sauce, not too spicy, not too mild, just right here. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. Really great sauce right here. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Opened up the jar, and then let me go ahead and look at this. Look at this. Come up to the screen and smell this. That's sauce right here. Look at that. Look at the chunks of tomato. I'm gonna go ahead and take a bite of this really quick. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. So I'm gonna put the top back on and just put this to the side. We'll come over here and get a little sample of the mushrooms and garlic. Now look at this. Look at them. Look, come up to the screen. Smell it. Smell it. All right. Doesn't that smell good? Absolute goodness. I'm going to go ahead and try some of this out. So good. Absolute goodness. So the noodles should be cooked right now. So what I'm going to do, let me check and see if they're al dente yet. Look at it. Check and see if they're al dente. And that they are. So I'm gonna go ahead and strain this and bring this back over. All right, do you hear that sound? I strained the noodles right here. Look at them come up the screen, smell it, fresh pasta noodles right here. Now, the air fryer just ended. The chicken's cooked. Now look at this. Now, if you want it a little bit more toast-rated than this, you see the chicken, it's cooked, it's baked. But if you want it a little bit more toast-rated, put it back in, put it on the air fryer, put it for 1 minuto, put it at 400 degrees, wheezy, and then start it. Maybe 2 minutes if you like it a little bit more toast-rated. While that's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and take this, turn the stove on, and I'm gonna heat up the sauce. Go ahead and wipe this off really quick. Turn this on, and so I'm gonna take the arboretta, and I'm gonna pour it inside of the pan just like that. Look at that. I'm not gonna pour all of it in there because I don't like too much sauce. If I need to add a little bit more sauce, I add some more of this. And so once I've added that in the pan, I'm gonna go ahead and take the mushrooms and fresh garlic, and I'm gonna go ahead and add this to the pot right here. All right. Then I'm gonna take some Parmesan cheese right here. Now the reason why adding Parmesan cheese to this right here is that it evens out the acidity of the arboretta sauce. All right, so I have that in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and take some of this and I put it on top. Now the reason why I'm putting it on top just like this right now is that I want the sauce to heat up first before I spinnerate it inside of there. All right, so I want the sauce to heat up a little bit because I don't want the cheese to actually cause it to stick to the bottom of the pot. So I have that in there, and I'm gonna go ahead and take my spoon. You see that it's heated up. The mushrooms and garlic, the flavor is permeating the sauce, adding a nice flavoration. I'm just gonna go ahead and stir this up like this. Stir the pot. All right, stir the pot, and add a little bit of olive oil to it, okay? 100% all-American California olive oil, olive ranch. Pour a little bit of that in there. And now that it's nice and heated up like this, I'm gonna go ahead and add the pasta to the sauce. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the pasta to the sauce right here. And then I am going to stirrate the sauce into it. Now, some people let it sit, once it's al dente, let it sit for about 10 minutes, and this allows the sauce to permeate the pasta. All right, so you have that, and look at this, look at this. I'm gonna go and turn the stove off, bring this right here so you can see this. Look at that. Now, I love this olive oil, all right, so I'm gonna add a little bit more to it. Gives a nice flavoration to it. And the chicken is about done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and get my plate. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of the pasta to the plate. Go ahead and add this to it. Look at that. Look at that. All right, and timing is everything. Now look at this. All right, so pull this out. Now look at that. You have the chicken. You have the chicken. I'm just gonna go ahead and add a piece of the chicken. Look at that. Gonna add a little bit of the mushrooms with tequila sauce. And put this on top of it right here. Now look at this. Got the tequila sauce on there. Then I am going to actually get a little bit more of Parmesan. Get a little bit more Parmesan cheese. and put a little bit on top like this. Look at that. Come onto the screen, smell this. Doesn't it look good? Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. Look, I'm gonna turn it around for you guys. Look at this. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness.